Hey everyone, today on the Garage Gym Experiment podcast, we are doing another HomeGymCon kind of roundtable overview of 2024 with a different group than I had on last time. And honestly, there's so many different groups that we could probably get, but this will probably be the last one for as a 2024 recap. But we have Matthew Porter, aka Porter Phys Ed, Mark Flex Mark the Spot, Eric Carpenter, Coach Carp, and then Ashton from Freedom Fitness Equipment. Thanks, guys, for hopping on.
Absolutely.
Pleasure.
No problem.
I'm going to start off by just recapping the award winners from HomeGymCon, and then after that, we're going to just kind of dive into some miscellaneous questions. So number one, best booth. So this was, and I'll also mention there were some incentives for vendors to try and win these awards. If you were a vendor that won an award, you got 100 square foot for free in the following year, and then also first choice in booth. So I don't know how many vendors took this too seriously, but there were some incentives. In general, like all of the booths were really well done, and they looked great. But the first one, best booth, the win, and this was something that was voted on by the attendees. So they were given a sheet of paper to fill out and return at the end of the day, and kind of choose your winners for that, for best booth, and then also best new product release. So we'll probably work on better execution in the future to choose these winners, but got a good enough number of votes to get some winners. So number one, Rep was the winner for best booth. Some other companies that received multiple. So ATX actually only lost this one by one vote.
Really?
Yes. Stronger Grip got some votes, Rogue, and then Belt Fed. So I think a lot of it came down to like also just like who is your favorite company.
Mm-hmm.
So that had I said this in the last podcast. Rogue had the most beautiful booth, like the most overdone booth. It was like simply amazing. But they didn't win this. So Rep won this one. Do you guys have any other feedback on the best booth award?
Go ahead. No, yeah, I was gonna say I actually didn't even vote. I had my sheet and didn't realize I still had it until we were at dinner the first day. So yeah, I mean, for feedback and like for the collection, was there like a specific like when did you guys like count those, or like I know like when I first arrived, you guys mentioned like just return it up to the front desk when possible, but yeah, I was curious as to when that collection happened.
We just kind of as people turned them in, added them to an Excel doc and
Gotcha.
kind of finalized it at like 3:00 on Saturday.
I think ATX's was. I mean, the fact that they only lost by one vote, I think that's pretty accurate. So nothing against Rep, Rogue, Bell's, Titan, all that for that matter, but they're starting to make a lot of the same stuff over and over again. And ATX brought something completely new to the table. If there had been more votes, I bet you they would have won, because they had some just gorgeous, and they're leaning into the IPF spec stuff. So the super crazy chrome competition calibrated plates and setups, and then some of the modular stuff that you just haven't seen anywhere else. Yeah, I'd say, like I said, if there's a few more votes, they probably would have swept it, because I don't think I've seen that kind of Mayhem actually too. Come to think of it, had some really neat. Their plates were freaking sweet, but just as far as like breadth and depth of booth and what they brought to the table, I don't know. I feel like ATX maybe had a one up on Rep for that one.
Yeah, I know you said you had got BeltFed had a bunch of had votes as well. Like that was one of my favorite ones, just so you can like interactively actually make your own belt and you can see them like hand carving the different belts. Like that was super cool and it was very unique compared to anybody else's booth. So, and like Ashton was saying with ATX, like those deep dish ones had the clear coat, the just that bare steel type look. Like I was like, those are fantastic. I wish I had a full set of those.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, to that point, I think the ones that had the most interactive boosts were the ones that were on the top of the list. Like he mentioned, BeltFed, Rep had plenty of space. They had a lot of new items too, that stuff that people were excited to see, like the Rep-Ins and the Aries 2.0. And then over at ATX, they had a lot of stuff that nobody had ever seen before, especially in the U.S. So they even brought some new things. Like Jake got that HomeGymCon specialized bar. Like that's the only one that I know of that's out there. So I think those that had a lot of space and had a lot of interactive things where you could plenty of room to try the stuff. There were some companies that had a lot of equipment, but you couldn't really try it. It was cramped in there. So I think those, and then like the rep guys, as soon as you come down through there, they're tossing you T-shirts and they're telling you, "Hey, come over and try this, or let me help you adjust this on the Adonis or whatever." This is kind of that kind of stuff. So I think I was very. The staff also made a big difference too. Like the ATX Flow was right in there in the middle of it, answering people's questions and showing you how to use equipment. So the guys that really stepped up and got involved, I think, were the ones that had the best booths.
Yeah, I mean, I could have seen this going a few different ways. Like, I mean, I think Rep definitely had a little bit of a leg up, being like the first thing that you see as soon as you walked in. You see all of these like pieces of equipment that have yet to release, or are like super brand new. So they got a lot of the like a lot of that initial wow factor. But like beyond that, kind of like what you mentioned a little bit earlier, Jake, like Rogues was just super. Everything was just super like in Rogue fashion, like over the top and uh, just there. Like like you weren't missing Rogue at all. When you were walking through the floor. And I mean, it's even looking back at some of the footage I had, or some of the footage other people had taken, it's really hard to capture that in video. Like, but when you were there, you really were able to feel like how much more over. I don't want to keep saying like overdone, but like just more massive, I guess. Um, Everything that Rogue was doing, like from just even components of the booth that weren't even like equipment related was. And then another one that I think um, actually like really stood out to me as a booth that probably could have gotten a little bit more recognition was PRX. I think they did a really good job at having their products, like everything that's kind of fold up against the wall. They had all of that stuff there. That was like in the background, like up against the walls. They had the rack, there, so you could fold it up and pull it back down. In addition to a lot of their standalone stuff that they're now starting to push. I think they did a really good job with space not really feeling cluttered, but they really were able to bring a lot of equipment into their booth, and kind of really emphasize the PRX aspect of being able to save space.
Yeah, they didn't have a massive booth either, but looked good. All right, moving on to best new product release. So I mentioned at the dinners that Rep had the top three vote getters for this one, with the Adonis winning, the Repins, and then the Aries 2.0 also receiving a good amount of votes, and then the product that received the most votes outside of that was the Dreadmill. So this was another product, or this was another category where it was voted on by the attendees, and this also had to be something where like you nominated yourself for. So you had to like nominate a specific product for. Every company had the opportunity, but not everybody did it. So like Rogue didn't nominate themselves for anything, and there were a number of other companies that just didn't reply or want to be up for the award. So just something to keep in mind. I imagine the rep products would have won anyways. And then none of the ATX products were necessarily new. So because they'd been around, they were just new to us. But any other, we have, later I was gonna ask about, just products in general. But any other new product releases that you wanted to talk about that you saw at HomeGymCon?
The bridge,
Go ahead. Sorry, Matthew. Go ahead.
the bridge built cambered bar attachment. That was something I got to play around with a little bit, and it's not. I don't think it's released just yet, but it still was a prototype there. But where how space saving it was, and then you can easily take it off of your bar and use it as like a lat pull down attachment as well. That caught my eye, and whenever they release that, I'm definitely buying that. And then I'm also a little biased, so I just throw up my own attachments that were there. But of all the other ones, that was the one that caught my eye. Was just the Bridgebilt's cambered bar, and then also their belt squat platform that just like pops on the bottom of the rack was really cool too.
Don't forget about their kids rack. They had that little kids rack too.
That was
They had
hilarious.
Young Buck.
Did anybody see the Force USA compact leg press hack squat combo? That was nifty.
Yeah, that was cool too.
I don't think I've seen that before, and it was very well. I was expecting it to be, just like every other one. Nope, big, beefy, and felt great. So, yeah, I was a big fan of that, and they just kind of caught me walking by, and I was like, "Daggum, that's actually pretty cool."
Yeah, they had it kind of sitting out there as like the leg sled, but like I think they probably should have had the hack squat attachment there the entire time. I think that would have gotten a few more eyes if they had that out of the gate.
Yeah, I saw the leg press. And I was like, "Oh, it's just like every other leg press." And then I saw somebody doing the hack squat, and I was like, "Wait a second, that's super cool." So yeah, I agree with you there, Mark. They need to throw that on there next time.
Yeah. So for new product or a product that really stood out to me, I think honestly the dialed motion setup there, like I was really really impressed at how just smooth the cables felt and just how seamless all of the other components and attachments and everything kind of worked. So like they had the belt squat, which it's really integrated there. Once it's available, it's already ready to go. They had like this new foot plate lat like a roller that like will hold down your legs for like lat pull downs that works very well. It's kind of a little offset to match the cable travel, and then even then just the weight horns that are able to pretty seamlessly and quickly attach on and off of their trolleys were just really cool. And yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of plate loaded cable systems anymore after going with the full stack, but even with that being said, I was super impressed, and might even consider a dialed motion setup down the line, just because of how well put together and thought out the product was there.
I was trying to think. Small item that I liked that it's actually now available out now, but it was a prototype at the time. Is Mike came out with that weight storage pen for micro gains, and it's kind of something we'd been talking about offline. Me and him and Keith Honeycutt and a couple other guys. Hey, we needed something to store our dumbbell plates in our gym so we don't have to lay them on the floor or whatever. He brought his prototype there, and then after HomeGymCon, he released it. So I purchased it. I have one now, but I thought that was a cool small item, but something cool. And then I did get to use the Bridge-built camber bar attachment, the barbell attachment. I thought it was a cool idea. I would like to see him tweak it a little bit and maybe fix the balance a little bit, but I did like the idea. I like where his mind's going with that. That's probably the ones that, and then the Exponent Edge. I had never seen his stuff before except online. So he had his prototype bench there, and just from online, it wasn't really appealing to me. I don't do a lot of bodybuilding training, but seeing all the stuff that it could do, I mean, I think it's a good item. I think it's a good product, and basically it's a transformer bench, really. And I think that's going to be a good item for people that utilize that type of training. But I mostly do powerlifting type training. But if you're doing bodybuilding and all that stuff, to do your rows and your all the different like dumbbell flies and everything, reverse flies that people do, then I think it's an awesome bench for something like that. And it's going to continue to get better because he's even talked about how he's added some other things that are not in the prototype. So I thought it was cool.
Cool. I mean, I want to touch on Matthew's attachments. I think, speaking of seeing stuff online, you're like, that's cool. And then you see it in person, you're like, oh, that's like rock solid. So your attachments on the cable tower looked great. Like they looked legit, which is like, just it just kind of shows like how far you've come within the last year or so. Which crazy props to you there. And then also I think the rack attached Smith machine from Bells of Steel.
Yeah.
I
That's
think
right here.
that's right. That's right. I forgot you took that.
Humble flex.
I think
Yeah.
that's going to be an awesome product as well. So
Adam's going to be jealous.
yeah, so yeah, and I mean it was cool. So one of those things with like these awards is they probably weren't as organized as possible, and if you looked at the sheet, you knew what you could vote for. But there were also a ton of like prototypes there that I think the companies that brought them got as good as feedback as you're ever going to get. So I think that was a really cool aspect as well that many took advantage of. Moving down the awards list, Rookie of the Year, I think not much of a surprise. I don't think we necessarily need to talk about this one too much more, but ATX, they were kind of the easy winner there. Most improved, so we had like 25 returning vendors or so off the top of my head, and Executive Fit won that one. So he brought like just an amazing setup, a little bit more unique than most of the standard gym companies, and it looked really good. And it truly was very, very much improved. Like he definitely brought some cool stuff the year before, but this was just like a well thought out booth. And he made a lot of stuff for other people
That's what I
that
was
were
going to say.
there. And then also like he made those he made the actual awards, which were just beautiful in general. Top competition supporter, Black Widow training. I mentioned this at one of the dinners as well. He was just like very forward with all of his offerings to the strongman and grip competition. He was the most proactive out of anybody, and that was from the meet directors' mouths. So that's why he won that award. And then top HomeGymCon contributor. So this was one that I chose, and if you were there at the dinner, it was like almost uncomfortable delivering it, knowing that I chose it, and there were so many that were well deserved. But this also went to Black Widow, primarily because of that. I think that comment like kind of put Dean over the edge as like the winner. But really, the companies that I were thinking about the win, like who I thought would win this, was somebody that supported throughout the entire year. So it's an event like, it's a tough event to build, and just like any good feedback put online is amazing. And I think Dean did the best job of that, like from the event throughout the entire year. Like he even like used his booth on the homepage of his website, which I noticed, and I never talked to him about that, but I noticed that was like awesome and kind of like an honor. I think, the other people that I would have considered were Executive Fit and Belt Fed. Again, primarily because like from day one, they or from day one since last year's event, they promoted it throughout the entire year. So yeah, I mean, and again, too many to really name. I think like a dozen could have won. Like, you could also give it to somebody like Rep for like just being the biggest company that returned back to back. So, yeah, those were the awards. Any other feedback for any of those awards I kind of ran through? Or any thoughts?
I was just going to say on those, the three guys you named, that Dean won. But I remember seeing all year long those guys in the Discord and the home gym community Facebook groups and stuff promoting it, talking about I was there, it was a good time, and then like encouraging other people to come. We're gonna launch new items. We're gonna have interactive booths and all that. So telling you meet me at the casino afterwards. We'll have beers together, that kind of stuff. So that was going on all year by Dean and those guys. So I don't see why. I see why they were finalists. I mean, I saw it all year myself.
I just want to give a shout out to one other guy, Kurt, for that strongman event. That was a crowd. That was quite well done, and I know there was several people involved other than Kurt, obviously, but I think Kurt was kind of the ringmaster there. So awesome job with that event in particular, and I think the log liftoff too. Both very well done.
Yeah, and the grip competition by Rob went really well as well. Like he put that together in, I want to say, like 45 days. So after the arm lifting competition got canceled. So all the competitions went really well. Considering it's the first year, it's in French Lick, and so they good call out. They deserve shout outs as well. All right, so we can continue geeking out on just the gym equipment that was there. Are there any other products that you tested that you'd like to give a shout out to or that caught your eye?
There were so many there. Trying to get the list back from this year.
Yeah, I mean, obviously ATX, like I'm not gonna go through all that stuff. I feel like everybody's already fully aware that ATX's stuff is top notch and everyone's, ready for them to come stateside. So won't go over that, but I want to say Bolt Fitness. I happened to catch them just when I was passing by right before the deadlift party. Like one of the guys just stopped me and was like, "Hey, I want to check out some of our stuff," and did. And I was surprised at how like high quality all of their stuff felt. Like I mean, honestly, like if you had thrown a Rogue logo on a lot of that stuff, it probably would have been almost indistinguishable. And I mean, a lot of their machines too were just like so massive. Like it was like ridiculous at how small I looked on like their leg press, hack squat, and like some things like that. So I mean, their stuff stood out at just the scale of the products themselves. But for an answer that hasn't been talked about yet, I think
they were
good one.
Like Bolt was like tucked away over to the side. I didn't see them until everything was like breaking down. And I wish I would have gotten over there and actually tried some of their stuff before everything. Everyone was like cleaning up. But I pretty much missed that entire wall. There was so much stuff. But the one that kind of stood out for me was those new Titan bars with the specialized coatings on the sleeves. Like those are really eye catching.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Titan's booth also was kind of went under the radar too. Like I feel like they really showed up. They had a lot of new stuff, some unreleased stuff that was just kind of hidden there that they didn't even promote. Everyone was kind of fixated on the leg extension, leg curl. I mean, rightfully so, but like they just had a bunch of just new unreleased stuff just there in their booth, like nonchalantly, like their new roller J-cup prototypes and all the bars and their new bar storage systems. It was just a really well done booth. And I think they had the best T-shirt like from all the vendors. Like they actually had a customized one, and that was really cool.
On it.
I know people keep bringing up ATX. The ATX did something very similar to what Titan did, but they wouldn't. Well, neither would Titan. They're probably using the same coating. I'm not gonna lie. ATX had a Cobra on the shaft of their bar. That was the cool. It almost looked chromatic. It was so freaking sweet. I've forgotten about that until just now. Like, that stood out above everything else. I've never seen that coating on any bar anywhere. And I went over to Titan. I was like, it looks very similar. I'm not sure if it's identical, but it looks very similar. I wonder where these guys are getting it. I'm sure it's in some factory in who knows where, China probably. But I mean, it's Germany. Who knows? Anyway, but I thought it was freaking sweet. And yeah. One more comment about the Bolt Fitness booth. So I love Bolt Fitness's stuff because you can tell it's Bolt Fitness. They've got like this overbuilt flair to everything, and their logo and everything is pretty sweet. But like, it's all, I'm pretty sure all of it is close to my heart, which is commercial grade. And it's built like, it's actually, oh, come to think of it, it's built like Sorinex is built, but they've got a fuller line of products.
Yeah.
So 3x3
that sounds
tubing,
about right.
controls, that kind of thing. And it's just built crazy. I've been super impressed with their stuff. Every time I've seen it online, every time somebody's mentioned it, I actually had reached out to them about becoming a distributor for some of their product line because it was just so impressive and built like a freaking tank. Like way more than most of the other companies within the home gym space. Just crazy stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say Bolt too. Like, you're talking about how it reminds you of Rogue. Like, if you change the logo, it kind of reminded me of Rogue like 5 or 6 years ago when everything was matte black, before they started doing colors and metallic coatings and different stuff like that. Before they had the Monster line, that was really big. They still had, 2x2 and stuff like that, 2x3. But it reminds me of the older Rogue. And, everything's well built, overbuilt. They did have a pair of lever arms that I've never seen before. Some people have these newer lever arms that have that adjust in each plane. I think theirs had like 2 different brackets on it, so it went, forward, back, side to side. That's one I haven't seen that is in a straight attachment, where other ones, they may have one bracket, or you can get like those Kaizen adapters. Some people are doing those, but they had multiple brackets. So go back and check those out. That was kind of a cool if you're a lever arms person. I'm not really, but they also had a lateral raise that I've never seen before. Like, I've seen some Amazon type versions and stuff like that. It was a cool product. I mean, it takes up a lot of space, but if you had a place to do that, it might be an item to look at. That's really the only one that kind of caught me by surprise besides ATX. Like, I had never seen the Bolt Fitness stuff up close before, so I would agree with you guys on all the rest of it.
What did you guys? I know, Carp, you got a good look at the new Rogue functional trainers. What did you guys think about like the Rogue functional trainers versus Rep versus all of the other kind of? There was like plenty of all-in-ones, and then also some other just pulley systems. Did you guys have any thoughts on all of the pulley systems, and was there one that stood out to you as the best?
Yeah, I'll start off on this one. I had a story post about a lot of these this weekend. Yeah, so with Rogue specifically, I was unimpressed with their single stack functional trainer, to be honest with you. I actually noticed like issues with cable travel when I was doing flies, like with the weight stack kind of topping out on the trolley. And I mean, I'm 5'7", and they had their 100-inch rack, I think. So I don't think most people are going to have the 100-inch setup. So I'm really curious to see what people with like 90-inch setups, like if they're running into that issue, with the single stack version. Because I mean, obviously, like if you're using both pulleys on at the same time, there's only so much that the cable can travel. For their twin stack that wasn't at HomeGymCon, I'm much more hopeful for that. But I mean, can't really say, with having not tried it whatsoever. But yeah, back to the single stack one. I mean, that one I was really underwhelmed with. And then another thing I haven't really seen anyone talk about yet is their the adjustment of the functional trainer pulleys. They're using like their lever arm trolley system. So like it has like two different like pull pins that you have to do. So you almost have to use two hands to adjust it up and down. So I mean, it's fine when you're moving up lever arms, which weigh a ton, which you're going to have to use two hands to do anyways. But like when you're trying to do a quick adjustment, and you're used to moving functional trainers with just one hand, I think that's going to kind of surprise a lot of people also. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, it was smooth. I mean, felt about as good as any other ones. The Aries 2.0, that's the one I thought was the best one out of all of the all-in-one cable units that were there. But I mean, the only other one that maybe comes to mind was actually a couple of them. There was Vesta Fitness, who theirs was actually surprisingly really well done, I thought. They had the Smith machine also. Everything felt really smooth. They had the like the handles for the functional trainer like facing the inside. So like over here on mine, on the Aries, like we have the issue of like with the 80-inch rack, the plates will kind of hit the handle. Vestas had theirs on the inside, which I thought was a nice underappreciated touch. And then aside from theirs, I want to say Force USA had a really cool one too. That I mean, if you can get out of the home gym hive mind of needing to have 3x3 everything that's super compatible across the board, then Force USA is like, I think they still offer a really compelling lineup of all-in-one trainers.
So Flex, do you have lever arms? Did you say you have lever arms?
I used to. I hated them and got rid of them.
Did it hit the cables or anything when you're on your Aries?
I got rid of them before I had the Aries, so I did not use those. I've not used them together.
I was just curious because somebody asked me that if you have lever arms, is the Aries or the Aries 2.0 gonna hit the cables because they move the cable to the side? And I thought that was just so like you get J-cups on and off easier and stuff like that. So I don't know how it would affect lever arms or something like that.
Yeah, I think I've seen some people like online that have had the rep lever arms and with the Aries 1.0. So I think there's just enough cable clearance so that they will work together.
Yeah, I'll hop in now. So I pretty much have the exact same sentiment you have, where I was having the same issue with the Rogue single stack, where I was using it and like some of the extras I was doing, it wasn't like completely topping out, but said I'm not really tall either, and I'm like, if somebody else like try to really use that range of motion, I'm like, they're gonna hit that top of that stack, and it's gonna be like frustrating. I mean, if you're just doing like just a front raise or something like that, it's going to top out. The swivels on the Aries, so the new swivels for like the lat pull down portion, I thought that was going to be a little bit more gimmicky than it was. But I really enjoyed playing around with that, where you could actually like adjust it and like go over to the left or right when you're doing push downs or whatever movement you're doing. So that was something that I didn't expect that I would like, and like that a lot. And then, just like you said, Vesta Fitness kind of caught me by surprise. Their finished product was pretty polished.
Yeah, I was just going to say I'm already in the Rogue ecosystem, so it's really appealing for me to look at the Rogue one, especially if they have an add-on kit. And they didn't have it there; they just had the plate loader like you guys were talking about. But if they had like a 90-inch rack with the dual stacks, I would really like to see that, because I would even look at doing it without the shrouds, just to save a little bit of money. I think it's like $300 or $400 without the shrouds. And then you can still get the weight stacks. And then it's kind of like, to me, it looks very similar to Aries. I know it's, they're different, obviously. But but one thing I don't like about the Rogue, or at least that version, is you're doing lat pulls or low rows sitting on the ground. I mean, you could roll a bench in, but even if the low rows, you're going to be on the ground at some point, where Rep has updated theirs to at least a mid-level pull. So that's that one kind of, and the bench can roll all the way into the back of the six post, so it doesn't get in the way. So that's one thing I think. But I want to like the Rogue, but at this point, I want to see what the newer versions come out, because those are prototypes, and they're not. I mean, they're selling them now, but nobody has it yet that we know of. So I want to see what they're like when it comes out, when some of these guys get them in and test them and review them. But right now, the Aries 2.0 has it for me, but I want to like the Rogue. I just can't right now.
Okay. Yeah, that was that.
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah. Just one more thing I want to add about the Rogue One also. Yeah, would have been really cool if they had one of the Rhino integrated systems there. I think that was
Yes.
another big one that everyone, including myself, have been really really anxious to see, especially like if they have like the functional trainer like set up with that. I mean, obviously, you can already kind of set up a lat pull down low row with like the surplus setup, which I mean, so it's not that groundbreaking there, but seeing what they could do with the functional trainer, I think would be really interesting. And free product idea for anyone out there: selectorized belt squat. I don't know how
Ooh,
you would do it, but if someone can figure that out, I think that would be huge. So
that weight
throwing that out
stack
there.
would have to be like 10,000 pounds, though.
Yeah, just have it so you could add on like add on plates. I think
There you
just
go.
for a lot of the accessory stuff, it does get really annoying having to load load up micro load plates on there. And you're doing 10 and 5 pounds at a time. That's where I think
That
the
is
selectorized would really shine.
One thing that the Rogue One makes me think of is like if they had that 3 or 4 years ago, I probably would have bought it, even if it was the plate loaded version, because they were the only ones that didn't have some type of rear attached cable system. So that's where Surplus Strength and some other companies popped up. Even your the dialed motion and stuff like that is because there was no cable system that you could use on those racks. So if you were in the Rogue ecosystem or you really like those racks, you didn't really have any option. The Slinger, but as everybody knows, that's not really a great option. So I don't know, what does that mean for people like Surplus Strength and stuff like that? Because that was their whole niche, is like a 3x3 rack that doesn't have a lat pull down. It's a solution or a small footprint also, but like I said, 3 or 4 years ago, I probably would have bought the Rogue system if they had it out then.
Yeah, I mean, I think like even the cheapest is $2,000. I think the mass majority of people, a plate loaded $500 UPS might do the trick rather than just like completely turning your rack into a functional trainer and lap low row. But I mean, you're right. It definitely opened the door for some other options. But I just think there's still a middle ground that somebody can take advantage of. Cool. Anything else on that topic?
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
I guess I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's kind of related to what Carp was saying there about the Rogue bench having to sit on the ground and or the Rogue low row, and similar to pretty much every other rack attached cable system having to sit on the floor. So yeah, again, not really related to HomeGymCon, but free product idea for any manufacturers out there. Look at what ATX is doing with that really cool lat pull down low row. The way they have that bench that adjusts up and down. You guys can do a flat bench or even an adjustable bench that goes down lower to the ground, so that when we are doing our low rows, we don't have to be on the ground. I think that would be a big seller. So throwing that out there also.
Rogue
Yeah,
2.0.
even like a mini bench that's like 6 inches off the ground. You know what I mean? Like a
Yeah.
kind of like a utility bench.
I know
The
I've seen Matthew just use just the bench pad, and I've done that as well.
bridge built bench, the one that folds up, kind of does that, where you can fold the feet in or fold the
Okay.
feet
Yeah.
down.
Like in storage mode, but you can just
Yeah.
sit on it.
Mhm.
Okay.
like
Yeah.
crash pad sometimes, like a crash pad or something sometimes. But I'd rather have something ATX or whatever.
All right. What about are there any other booths that were more impressive than you expected, or like they just deserve a shout out?
Williams Strength, their booth was really cool. They had
Except
like
they left early.
yeah, they had like a booth. Their rack had a system where like it was like almost flush against the wall, and then they had the spotters and the J cups where you could go down, and they had a portion that you could twist the J cups on and off, or not on and off, but they would just twist out of the way. So you could twist them, and then you adjust them to whatever height you wanted, pin them in place, and then when you wanted to put them in storage mode, pull them down, and then you could rotate them over to the left and right. I thought that was very unique. I've never seen that like anything like it. Very clever.
I totally missed that. I went over to their booth too.
Were they the ones that
I
were
missed their booth altogether.
Were they right across from Bolt? Do you remember?
They were
That
right
back
behind
corner?
Swings They were right behind Swing Sesh and right next to Bell's, or like right adjacent to Bell's.
Okay, yeah.
They were only there Friday though.
That's what I was gonna say. I think they left. I went to over there and they were gone.
Yeah.
Looks like Carp dropped
Must
They
out.
left early.
No, yeah, I missed Williams Strength altogether. Like I missed them on Friday, and by the time I made my way there Saturday, they were already packed up. So I was really bummed to see that. But no, yeah, another booth that kind of stood out to me was Barbell Voodoo. Like theirs, like everyone else, was kind of obviously with gym equipment, you can't really expand out vertically, but Barbell Voodoo, with a lot of all their stuff being basically apparel, they were very vertical with all of their offerings, which was really cool to see the contrast there versus some of the other equipment specific ones.
Yeah, going back to William Strength, if you've ever seen any of their setups, so we are in talks to partner with them and do some of their installations here in the Carolinas, but because they're just doing so well and doing so much volume for like big name schools, and their custom setups are unbelievable. So Jake, I know they did a rendering. I wish they should do this. Make them do this next year. That rendering they did for HomeGymCon.
Wish I could.
They could do that. They could actually do that, and they would, and they do. Like they do that full custom setup for universities, facilities, like everybody, and it's mind blowing. It's all like they're doing 4x3 racks for University of Virginia, I believe, and it's just they're gigantic. Like they're freaking huge setups that are all completely custom with baked in floor like floor logos and the whole 9 yards. And when it's set up, it's like it'll blow your mind. So super underrated. But they didn't have that at HomeGymCon. They had a more like stripped down home gym setup. But if you go on their website and look at their the setups they've done for schools, oh my gosh, it's crazy. One that I think I thought was really cool, underrated. I just kind of caught them in passing. That company, they were right across from Black Widow and Waited Out. That sold like the banners and the hammers and like some cool,
Stronger
unique
Grip.
fantasy stuff. What was the name?
Stronger Grip.
Stronger Grip. I thought that was really cool. I like the fantasy aspect, and I just thought it was really neat just passing by it. I think they had a sledge pound bell thing at the end of their booth that was caught the attention of who the heck was yelling and running around the whole time.
Huck
Forget
Finn.
it. Yeah, Huck Finn. He caught that a couple of times. But no, I liked, and they were all dressed up, which I thought was super sweet. So I thought they had a lot of fun with their booth, and I just want to give them a shout out because I thought it was unique and fun. I think they were mostly they weren't selling equipment; they were just selling banners, right?
Well, you could buy. I'm sure you could have bought their like sledgehammers and such. But yeah, they were great.
Their stuff was like art. I mean, I know how hard it is
Yeah.
to go and make that stuff because I do some of that, or like being able to like go through and like some of that stuff is all hand welded and to make just the patterns. I mean, that stuff would take. I mean, it's hours and hours of just meticulous work to make it look like that.
All right. What about what would you do differently, or what do you think you will do differently in 2025 if you go than you did in 2024?
Yeah, a tractor trailer.
Yeah.
That's not bad advice.
I mean, they will have a loading dock at this facility, right, Jake?
Yeah.
There you go. Perfect. Just wheel it out straight on. 53 feet of it. So we'll be a vendor next year.
Right.
So this for us, I think I've learned my lesson. Nobody cares about used equipment. Hate y'all. But anyway,
Lori.
unless it's cool and old and unique, which I may have some for that next year. But no, I'll be bringing all brand new stuff, and I'll basically be trolling the vendors list to see who we distribute or carry that's like super unique that we can kind of show off. The one thing that we've rolled out recently, this is self-promotion, so I apologize. You can block me out for a minute if you want to.
No problem.
Is hammerclad flooring. So we didn't have a flooring vendor last year, but this year. But we'll have hammerclad, which is American-made rubber and turf. And I'll probably do a turf strip with I might have to actually do like a sled push contest or something in front of our booth. But I'm probably gonna do stuff people haven't seen that's new in the commercial space, which is fairly unique. William Strength is obviously doing some of that stuff. I want to show that off big time. And then I'm working with Dean on something that I can't reveal yet, but that thing is going to be there. So I'll probably preview that here in the next month or two, but we're going to bring it around to conferences and things. And I'm super excited because
I think I know what it is.
Yeah, man, we're going to add to it quite a bit, but I've been working on the project for 2 years and it's finally coming around and I can add stuff to it. Anyway, I'm not going to give it away, but that'll be at HomeGymCon too for anybody's watching.
I hate surprises. That's going to be killing me.
It's come on, man.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah, so for things I will do differently next year. So I think I'm going to try to have a little bit better of a plan of which booths specifically I want to try to hit, because even this year I was not able to go to every single booth that I wanted to. Even being there the whole 2.5 days, it was crazy how quickly the time passed. And there were quite a few booths that I was really bummed to have missed out on. People that some of the vendors that that I've talked to a little bit throughout the years, and still have yet to make a face-to-face connection, unfortunately. So probably just try to map that out a little bit better. Basically just maybe to try to have a game plan a little bit more than just kind of winging it.
All right. What about what's the number one vendor you'd like to see in 2025 that was not there in 2024?
I'll go first. The Strength Co. Big Grant. Massonomics came this year.
Yes.
We need you there next year.
Yes. Grant, if you're listening, get your sorry ass over to HomeGymCon 2025.
He's on the East Coast now.
I know. Dude, he could come. Heck, if he... Okay, here's an idea. Grant, listen. I'll be your distributor, and you can come in our trailer, and you can have a spot at our booth. There you go. Boom. Done.
He better hurry up. Or Mayhem's going to take over.
I think Grant's the type that if he's going to do something, he's going to do it big. So it's probably a bigger decision than
right.
we know. Sorry, Mark, go ahead.
No, yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's a number one vendor that wasn't there this past year that I want to see next year. But I mean, I don't know what all happened with a lot of the vendors that were signed up but didn't show up. But I would like to see a lot of those ones specifically. So like GetRx, Zebex, Vulcan,
Sornex was one of those.
Well, Sornex, I think they had some stuff going on.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened with those other ones. Yeah, but
there were definitely there were a few like Sornex and Surplus Strength that things came up at the end, like a death happened for Sornex, and then Jason tore his MC. Like there were reasons, and then there were also like that last month, the flurry of companies just kind of backed out. So yeah.
So that might have been a good thing, just because we were able to kind of get everything in one, squeeze everything in one area.
For sure.
So you're saying that you already kind of posted on this earlier today with the speed collar. Get them going, because I love those little things.
I really like to see. I know that Death in the Family happened, but I would like to see Sornex. I think they were like big four, big five companies, and their stuff is freaking sweet. So it's very much William Strength-esque.
Right.
It's awesome. hard to explain unless you see it in person how beefy it is. We've had on the used side, just thinking about stuff we've had in our shop, we had a triple lat tower that sold within I think 2 hours of us listing it. Their stuff is just insanely popular, especially here in the Carolinas. But they just make really good stuff, and it's all modular and it's all built on the 3x3 platform, which I love. So you can basically stick it on anything, and they know that, and they just overbuild it. And like I've got a belt squat here that's got the Citadel logo on it, and it's the beefiest belt squat I've ever seen in my entire life. It's like 2 tons and it's indestructible. I think you could load it with literally an infinite amount of weight and it would still hold up. I'm working on this myself for our booth. Which, by the way, if there's any small, I'll just make this shout out on this podcast, but if there's any smaller, like either content creators or manufacturers that want to partner with us and have a spot at our booth, like a spot off to the side, I'd be glad to partner with you and do that. I'm trying to work on bringing plate snacks in. So, and Jake, I may need to talk to you about this later. I would love to figure out a way for him to bring his, and it's not possible with his current machine, but bring some sort of machine with him that can customize on the spot, similar to what BeltFed does, vinyl adhesives for anybody who wants it right there. Because like Mark does a bang on job of design work. Like that guy, he's an engineer with a design mind, which is like super rare. And the stuff he can just kind of create up on the spot is insane. So if he came, he would be busy like morning to night with that machine. But at the very least, I would like to show off his stuff a little bit more prominently at HomeGymCon because I think what he does is awesome. And he and I have worked together on a handful of projects that I don't know if anybody knows about, but he does some customizations for us on equipment, and he always does a way better than expected job, like just solid. So as far as like smaller manufacturers, like I would love to see him at HomeGymCon next year.
Awesome. Well, that was all I had. Was there anything else anything else any of you want to highlight before we close it?
How well of a great job you did with putting everything together.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jake.
Yeah, it was. I was there year one, and I mean, I was blown away at how well it was run. Year one. So year two, I thought I had some sort of baseline, but even the expectations I had there were just exceeded, tenfold. So yeah, just great job, and excited to see what year three has in store.
Awesome. Well, I mean, really, the credit goes to the companies for bringing the cool stuff because that's what makes it a great event. But
yeah,
thank you.
See, they wouldn't be there if it wasn't for you. Like your person is. I know you're going to get embarrassed about this, but I'll say it anyway. Your personality is what made this event successful. Humility, willingness to work with everybody, the community you've built, the time you put into it. You're just like the nicest guy ever to everyone and openly warm and accommodating to everyone. And that made, like, you're not Arnold, but you don't have to be. And you tripled this event. And that's because of you. So huge kudos. And I think this event's going to like triple again at Kentucky. And I think that's directly due to not only your personality, but also the community you've built, which has been years and years and years in the making. I know it's been years and years in the making. So what you built is just incredible. And I think people really resonate, like myself, really resonate with that because it's more than just, like you said, equipment reviews or like, trying to get affiliate clicks or whatever. Like you're building a grassroots kind of community around this and people around this that like other content creators, Grassroots Reviews talked about this, like, oh, I'm a competitor with all these other content creators. These other content creators love being around each other, and you've created that environment. So I love it. It's awesome.
Thank you.
That's what I was going to say. This is my first year going, and I couldn't see not going next year. So if you guys are on the fence about wanting to go, it's going to be in Louisville, Kentucky. So it's going to be easy to get there. You can fly in. I would say do it. If you're in this community, you like home gym stuff, you will not be disappointed. One thing I want to do next year, I competed in strongman, so the one night at the casino I didn't get to go because I just went home and went to sleep. But the second night I got to hang out with a lot of you guys and just talk and just hang out, shoot the breeze. So I encourage anyone that goes to do that as well. Kind of find a place where everybody's going, meet up, talk to your friends. meet the people you talk to online. So I would highly recommend it going. But I had one question for all you guys: is there one piece, something you may have took home, whether it was a sticker or a equipment item or anything that you remember from this year's Home Gym Con? It could have been a T-shirt or whatever. Is there anything that stood out to you that you're glad you brought home or that you thought was cool?
Yeah, the little weighted out mini plate from Brian weighted out at Weighted Out's booth. That was probably the coolest little token there also. And I mean, and I guess also just I think Brian also deserves a shout out there as well. I know he helped Elliot there from Uclips, kind of get out there too. And I'm not sure, how many other people interacted with both of them, but I feel like a lot of my time on both nights after hours, was spent kind of, just kind of talking to them. And I think that's another one of the things that makes Home Gym Con so great is, just the networking with people. And I mean, it's most of that happens, outside of the convention as well, like-minded people who are, into the same things we are, and, Brian and Elliot were just two examples of that. I mean, I couldn't even list everyone that was kind of hanging out afterwards, on any of the 2 to 3 nights. So, I mean, just another added perk there.
Just how many connections, just so many people, like meeting everyone in person was something fantastic. And then, to come back to your question, I think that, I think Mike said this on the other one, just with Fringe and, Bells, just giving out so much like stuff. Like I came home, I think I had probably had like maybe 100 shirts from Bells of Steel. At one point, I had like multiple bags of stuff, and then getting the French Port mag pins, and then getting their little Ninja Star like mini plates and everything. Like that was awesome.
I forgot the Ninja Stars. I snagged it because I asked Bridgebuilt to bring it, but they're American flag J cups. Friggin' sweet. And they need to sell more of those plates because I asked them for I just thought they were so cool. They need to make more designs of those, like the urethane covered cast iron, or sorry, the clear coat plexiglass covered plates in the American flag, and then they've got the Bridgebuilt version, but they need to make more designs of those because those are unbelievably cool. But yeah, I took home a pair of those.
Nice.
Hey, y'all missed out late at night. Me, Kurt, and I forget who else is trying to get those giant 75s on the bar. They were so tight, we had to like fight it on there. It was probably like 30 minutes of trying to get those plates on that bar.
Oh no!
Oh my god!
Yeah, we got they fit, but it was close.
Bridgefield ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you guys saw Deadliest Lift that time. Okay, so I was like going back through the footage and asking people later, but I remember forgot his name again. Who was doing the announcing?
Andrew Hannes. Oh, Huck Finn.
No, Huck Finn.
Yeah.
So Huck Finn's like, it's 1,080 pounds. I'm like, there's no way it's over 1,000 pounds. Yeah, it was 1080. It was 1080 in the bar. He was just straight up through. I have never seen somebody lift over 1,000 pounds like that. It was just like, boop, boop, done. Crazy.
Monster.
Yeah, Mark is insane.
And he's tall, and he just kept going and going. Yeah.
Yeah, he's bleeding through his nose. Just like, and the guy's like, as far as I know, isn't even on it. Like, what's his regular deadlift?
Like in the 9s. Yeah, he can do 900.
Holy cow.
He probably doesn't know because I don't know the last time he's probably even done a regular deadlift.
Right.
It's always the most over the top deadlift variations possible.
The wild thing about him is, Carvey mentioned it, he's so tall. It's not like he's like insanely long limbed or anything, but like most deadlift specialists have really long arms and like short torso or whatever. But like the guy's just tall and super strong. Anyway, crazy.
Yeah, he's got to be like 6'7".
Yeah,
I think he's 6'8", but yeah, pretty might as well be 6. whatever, 1 inch. It's huge. What about you, Jake? Did you have anything that you brought home or thought was really cool that a piece you picked up, even if it was a freebie or something?
Well, I took home that ATX bar. And I don't know if I want to use it or if I would just want to like store it away.
Wall hanger.
I think that's pretty much, that's the biggest thing I took home other than
You're
like,
not going to do what I did in my
and-
bar?
No, no, I'm not. They didn't like that, did they?
They were fine with it. I mean, it had some damage coming home, and then it did some weird
Got it.
stuff in the humidity here in Florida. Because I got it home, and then we had a day where it was like 98 and like 99% humidity, and it was not. It was like it was doing. I don't know if it was something wrong with mine, but it was almost like gummy. But they're trying to figure out what happened with it and like why I would do that. So that was it was more to the story of why I cleaned it off.
Right.
What is that? Just I don't even know what it is. I know because some of the IPO, I think Aleco has some on there. Is it just paper or is it like some composite material?
Some kind of paint, I think.
It's a print. They print on the bar.
Oh,
They have like a special printer.
okay. I thought it was a wrap or something. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to use it either, man.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe once a year. Break it out once a year.
It's freaking sweet.
I don't know. I don't think it's gonna last forever. But
If you leave it on the wall, it might.
It's not. Yeah, it's not just like a sticker, but it's not like I don't know. It's
like
it's not Cerakote either.
Cerakote maybe or something. No.
I don't know. I mean, it's cool.
When I was playing around with them at the convention, they felt super hard, and then it felt like almost more like a Cerakote. And then basically got it home, and then hung it on the wall, and then it had a ding from the trip over. But then I went back over to it, and like I could take my fingernail and like almost like scrape it off.
Oh wow!
But that's not normal. Like there was an issue with mine specifically.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because if it is Cerakote, it should be like heat resistant up to like a zillion degrees.
Anyways, I guess that'll do it. Anything else?
I want somebody to tell me what that coating is on that Cobra bar still.
I know that I believe when Titan was talking to me about it, they said it was proprietary. So
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be telling you either.
Well, the Titan was saying the middle was a proprietary Cerakote. If it was the shaft of the bar, the sleeves they wouldn't say what it was. I brought up the spider drill bits that are like purple and blue, and it's a very similar color to that one bar that they had. But the green, like I don't know, they couldn't tell me yes or no, but if I had to guess, it's probably something like that.
Will say that the stuff I saw on the sleeves on the Titan bars seemed like it would come off pretty easy compared to the stuff that was at ATX. Seemed like a little bit more high quality, but I don't know if it's probably not the same thing because I think the ATX they say they make all their stuff in Germany, right?
The printing,
No.
the printing I think is Germany.
Got it. Okay. All right.
I think most of their stuff is actually overseas.
Okay.
But I believe the printer itself it might be, but I might just be making stuff up, misremembering.
I'll take them out back and threaten them. They'll tell me.
No, yeah, most of their stuff was made in China. I did get that from them. They weren't trying to, claim it. All their stuff was made in Germany either. They're just like, nope, we design it, and manufacture it and over there. So, but no, yeah. Another thing, I know it's a little later for you guys, but just really quick. Was really surprised at Titan also. Like they had some of their sales guys there, and they were pretty well versed in like the home gym community. Really didn't expect that. Like I was walking by, and one of the guys was just like, "Hey, Flex marks a spot," and I was like, "What?" Like, he's like, "Oh yeah, I love the videos you put out and stuff like that," and just like I had no idea anyone at Titan even knew who I was, and like, oh yeah, we keep our eyes on the ground. We know what's going on there. So that was really
There's one guy
surprising to
that
see
really
that they
knows
were.
his stuff. Yeah, he's been in the home gym community for a while. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
haven't really seen them around too much. Maybe I've missed him.
I mean, if you think about it, they really should be. I mean, reps in the groups and all that, answering questions. And
Oh
I know there's
yeah.
other companies that do that too, but that's the first one that comes to mind for me. Besides like Dean, Black Widow, he's
Yeah,
but he makes custom stuff for the most part.
Dude, Rep is eating Rogue's lunch on the home gym community involvement. Holy crap. Like, if Rogue, and again, this goes, this goes back to the many conversations that I know this group has had about does Rogue even care? Is Rogue even focused on that? Which
sounds like they do
I
now.
think they do now.
yeah, yeah, but like they're way behind. I mean, if they even wanted to be there, like they're just so far behind what Rep's doing. I mean, Rep cares, like, or at least they appear that they care. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, Rogue signed right back up for HomeGymCon. I think that's a sign.
And next year they're probably going to have all these functional trainers there. You know what I mean? They won't be prototypes next year.
Wait a year before you buy.
You think they'll actually do media next year?
I mean, honestly, like there were a few standouts like ATX, but I think the companies that were there in year one were very well prepared for year two, even though it was quite a bit larger. They just kind of had that year's worth of experience. They knew the types of people that were going to be there, and they adapted to it. And I do think that this is an event that, like, you will reap the rewards of like being not that just because I'm the guy who's running it and wants people to sign back up, but you will reap the rewards of like coming back year after year after year. It's not necessarily something that you're going to see a lot of benefit just right away. It really is that returning crowd that goes to see the returning vendors, and it's part of what makes this thing work. The community. So I think, yeah, it's the companies that invest in it year after year after year are going to do the best at HomeGymCon. And honestly, I think this could be something that goes on for a really long time, and it's better to start now than like in year 10. So
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
we're
you
post
just-
COVID, and I mean, if and it's oh no, yeah, we're post COVID, and I mean, a home gym convention is still continuing to grow like almost exponentially. So, at this point, I don't really see like why it would even slow down.
It's not going away.
like to your point, I was just going to say you're talking about last year versus this year. I didn't go last year, but I do know like Peter from Fringe went last year, like as an attendee, and they had one of the more fun booths, even though they didn't have a ton of equipment. They had a few things picked out that they wanted to bring, and then they had a coffee station and stuff like that. So, and Peter was the owner, just sitting there talking to people. I think that's So to your point, like Rogue and these other companies can come back next year and say, hey, this is kind of what it was like. We can come back bigger and better, or it may be a new company that maybe there was companies there this year that we didn't have a booth and they were just walking around that we don't even know. So
there were,
Well,
yeah.
there was some
So we just
garage
need to
gym
shout out-
reviews people there.
You need to shout out Peter in general. He was just like a staple of the whole convention, just him walking around.
Yeah, I mean, I also just really appreciate the larger companies with the CEOs that came, like Kayvon. Like he also had a really fun attitude.
He was running around everywhere.
Yeah.
And
So
also give a shout out to Kayvon because he got a lot of people there too.
Right.
I was able to get there and drive there because he covered the travel expense for me to get there with all my attachments. I mean, I think there's at least 3 more like Garage Gym Life, Bells of Steel helped, and then Massonomics and Gluck.
How many guys did he fund? Because I knew of 2. So like I keep hearing of people that he just like.
Well,
I think that's it.
Mine was last minute. I was already going. They were already supposed to stuff to be there, and things happened and things were misplaced, and then I had to make them at 2 o'clock in the morning, and then drive 34 hours total.
Yeah, from Florida, that's a long haul, man.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I went to Florida, North Carolina, stayed there, slept it there, and then North Carolina over. So 16 hours over 2 days, and then the 16 hours back.
You're coming to Charlotte soon, right?
Yeah, end of June.
Sweet. Yeah, definitely text me.
Yeah,
I give you my number,
definitely.
Red.
Just shoot me over Instagram.
I
Sorry.
just got one final shout out to all the companies that had like coffee or snacks, and then First Form, keeping everybody happy. The most favorite non-equipment booth there had to be First Form because they were giving out energy drinks, giving out protein bars, like right by the strongman competition. So they got hammered by all the big guys over there. So, and I was one of them. So
Yeah,
shout out to First
I
Form.
forgot about them.
What do you guys think about adding more supplement companies?
Depends on space.
Why not?
I think a few more. I wouldn't want it to be like to turn into where it's just like a ton of them, but like if we had 2 or 3, give us a couple more options would be cool. But like I don't think if we had like 15 or 20 of those, that probably would be not great.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to hear.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just,
a couple
just
more.
maybe a few of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
First Form keeps coming out with really good stuff.
Or-
They keep with new products, which helps with like every year having different things. But like didn't you guys try their birthday cake protein bar? Oh my gosh.
Great. I don't even like birthday.
It's cake. It's 200 calories and it's cake. Or it certainly tastes like it. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know how they pulled
probably
that
should
off.
have.
Impressive.
I mean, they kept me going. I think that was pretty much all I ate the entire time I was there.
Yeah, I was like on, I want to say like 500-600 milligrams of caffeine like each day there, like probably closer to 6.
For sure.
I was
It was a
baby
little
doses.
overboard.
I think I was about let me shoot get 1,000 going.
I can I can hear colors.
No, Bam Hammerhead, they had those like shot things he was giving out. Like that had me wired on the first.
He gave me a full bottle and said, "Drink this in the morning the next day."
Oh no.
And I drank like a fourth of it, and I was turning red all over. I don't know what that was.
I didn't go.
It was
back
like
for the
rashing
second
up.
one.
Yeah.
400 milligrams of caffeine and B vitamins.
Make your hair stand on end.
Yeah.
Golly.
But all right, guys. Well, I'm sure we could keep this going all night. But thank you guys for doing this. Appreciate the feedback, and then also just the great discussion.
No problem.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks,
Thank you.
guys.
Thanks. Bye.